Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you very much for joining us today. We are going to continue with 9th Canto, chapters hopefully 3 and 4. Wanted to seek your good wishes and your blessings. Blessings of Vaishnavas are very, very important and very potent as well. So, I'd like to seek the blessings of Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada so that we can enter into the world of the Bhagavatam and gain some wonderful knowledge and instructions. So, chapter 3. This is towards the end of the chapter. Very nice verse.
Tat kacha deva devam so bala devo mahabala kanya ratnam idam rajan nara ratnaya dehibhyo. O king, live here and offer your daughter to Lord Baldev, who is still present, is most powerful. Indeed, he is the supreme personality of Godhead, whose splendid portion is Lord Vishnu. Your daughter is fit to be given to him in charity.
So we'll come to this a little bit later. Anybody know who this daughter might be? Her name? Who was the wife of
Whose
Balaram?
daughter, Prabhuji?
Balaram. Whose wife is Balaram?
Revati.
Yeah, very good, Madhusudan Prabhu. Yes, excellent. So it comes towards the end of the
I
chapter.
was muted. Revati, sorry.
Okay. So this chapter is entitled The Marriage of Sukanya and Chyavan Muni. And this chapter describes the dynasty of Saryati, another son of Manu, and also tells about Sukanya and Revati. So there you go. Chyavan Muni, he very interesting Muni. Now, the son of Vaivasvat Muni, Manu, Saryati, he was actually known as Devagna because he was very learned in the scriptures, Vedic knowledge. And he used to give instructions about how to perform the ritualistic ceremonies. And especially he would instruct about what happens on the second day of the yagya in the Angirasas. One day, Saryati, along with his daughter known as Sukanya, went to the ashram of Chyavan Muni. There, Sukanya, the daughter of the king, she saw two glowing substances within the hole of earthworms or glowworms. And by chance, she wasn't very mature. She pierced those two glowing substances. And as soon as she did this, blood began to ooze from those holes. Now, after that, there was a reaction. The king and his companions, they suffered from constipation. They couldn't pass urine. And they were thinking, something's gone wrong. Saryati was thinking, we've made an offense. And the girl was listening to the father, and she was very afraid. So she said to her father, I have done something wrong. I have ignorantly pierced these two luminous substances with a thorn. So then they realized that this is Chyavan Muni. He must be doing austerities, and we've made an offense to him. So they started offering prayers to Chyavan Muni. And the Muni was very gracious. He was a little upset, but he was controlled. And he asked the king, after the prayers were said, that is your daughter married? So the king understood by the way he asked that to appease the Muni, I'll have to offer my daughter to him. And he did, and the Muni forgave them. Of course, Chyavan Muni was very old, and he was actually also a very irritable man because he was old. One of the things that happens when you get a little older, become irritable, especially with material inconveniences. But Sukanya was a wonderful wife. She served him very, very nicely, very attentively, very chaste lady. So then one time, when the heavenly physicians, the Ashwini Kumar brothers, they visited Chavan Muni. And Chavan Muni, he knew their weak point because they were only physicians. They weren't actually devatas who could participate in the drinking of the somaras or in the yagyas or the sacrifices. They couldn't get any benefits because they were just physicians. So he said to them, Chavan Muni, he said to them, you give me my youth, and in exchange, I'll give you a full pot of somaras. A somaras is this beverage which is only available in the heavenly planets and only to demigods. So these two physicians, they had the ability to make an old man young again. So they took Chavan Muni to a particular lake, and they all, three of them, entered that lake. They bathed in that lake, and Chavan Muni regained his full youth during that time. Thereafter, the three men with very beautiful bodily features emerged from the lake. They were nicely dressed, decorated with earrings and garlands of lotuses. It's quite a description of how they looked. All of them were of the same standard of beauty. So Sukanya, the wife of Chavan Muni, she couldn't work out who's her husband. She couldn't believe her eyes anyway. What happened? Where's the old man? She then surrendered onto the Ashwini Kumars and requested them to mercifully show her husband. And pleased with her chastity, they introduced her again to her husband. Oh, same title. King Saryati, he in the meantime, wanting to perform a sacrifice, a yagya, he came back to the residence of Chavan Muni. And he saw Chavan Muni and the wife, his daughter. There he saw by the side of his daughter a beautiful young man, as bright as the sun. But the king got very upset with the daughter, thinking that she had left the old man, the Muni, and accepted a young man as her husband. But Sukanya, she was very confident and she was very proud of her chastity. She'd been very loyal. So she explained the actual position to the king, that the old Chavan Muni has now become this young Chavan Muni. And that pleased the king very much because he understood that the daughter was chaste. So then Chavan Muni engaged King Saryati. Now remember, he was actually very knowledgeable in the Vedic scriptures in performing the Soma Yagya. And he gave the Ashwini Kumaras the privilege to drink the Somaras. Now, as I was saying, this is not generally available to the physicians, to the Ashwini Kumaras, because they're not proper demigods. So Indra became very angry because they're not entitled to the Somaras. And he even tried to kill the Muni. But he could do no harm to the Muni. And instead, Chavan Muni, by his mystic powers, paralyzed Indra's arm that held the thunderbolt. So that actually pleased the Devatas. Chavan Muni showed his incredible strength. And thereafter, the Ashwini Kumaras, they were allowed by the demigods to share in the Somaras. So this is the power of the Muni, the devotee. Okay. Saryati later had three sons named Uttanabhahi, Anartha, and Purisen. Anarth had one son whose name was Revata. And Revat had 100 sons, of whom the eldest was Kukudmi. Kukudmi once took his daughter Revati to see Lord Brahma to inquire about a husband for her. He couldn't find anybody qualified for his beautiful and intelligent daughter. So he went to Lord Brahma. So he's very powerful to go from Jambudvip to Brahmlok. It's not an easy thing. When Kukudmi arrived there, Lord Brahma was engaged in hearing musical performances by the Gandharvas. So he kept Kukudmi waiting for a little while. And at the end of the musical performances, he submitted his request to Lord Brahma. He said to Lord Brahma, where do I find a suitable wife for my beautiful daughter? And thus he submitted his long-standing desire. Lord Brahma laughed loudly and said to Kukudmi that everyone you know has died. They moved on because whilst you've been here, 27 Chatyu yugas, that's a lot of yugas, have passed already. So everybody you know is gone. But he advised Kukudmi that at the moment in is Kali Yuga, is Dwapar Yuga, and Balaram is there, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And you should offer your daughter to Baladev. That will give you great, great satisfaction. And he explained Balaram is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose plenary portion is Lord Vishnu. Your daughter is fit to be given to him in charity. Kukudmi, of course, he took the advice. He went, he met with Balaram, and Revati was there. Of course, Revati was very tall because this was Satya Yuga. And now is Dwapar Yuga. And devotees may remember the pastime where Lord Balaram, with his plow, reduced the size of Revati so that he could marry her. And then Kukudmi retired from worldly life and he went to Badrikasham to please Narayan. So this is a wonderful pastime. That's the end of chapter 3. Any questions or any comments, please?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Naniman.
Can I ask one thing? Don't know when these two Ashwini Kumars and Chavanya Rushi, why did they all assume the same body shape and same characteristics?
Good question. Yeah, no, it's a good question. The Ashwini Kumars already had the same body. They already were very beautiful, very handsome. But Chyavan Muni became exactly the same as them. Oh. Exactly the same. So it wasn't that they all changed the body. Okay. The twins were already very, very beautiful and effulgent. So.
But Haribol, Hare Krishna?
Yes.
Bhagavatam ki jai. Relating to this, yeah, I understand. The Shavan Muni was very old and invalid and almost there. Ashwini Kumars had to be held, they caught hold of Shavan Muni and walked him and took him to the lake. Right. And they went with him. All three of them went. And Ashwini Kumars, I understand from my daughter's astrology bit that they are a bit like pranksters a bit. They were trying to play a little bit of a trick. So they came out looking all similar. So they were to see and test the chastity of the wives, so that whether she can recognize who her real husband is, Shavan Muni. But she actually took shelter of Ashwini Kumars and let them tell her who the husband is as well. So Ashwini Kumar then realized that she is chaste and she wants to remain chaste, but they're a little bit of a pranksters, so they're trying to play a little bit of a trick here.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
That's what, yeah.
Nice one.
That's what I was thinking, that there may be some form of a joke or prank joke on a Revati.
Yeah.
Trying to test her chastity. So she turned out pure.
Yeah, and then later on when this young man now, who was old, Shavan Muni, went to the father-in-law. Later on, we came to that, didn't we? That, you know, he goes to the father-in-law. The father-in-law can't recognize him. Then he is doubting his own daughter. He said, "What have you done? Are you actually have you left that old man who was like a beggar in the street and all that, and now you've taken on this young man? Have you left him and done something like that, which would have brought you know, bad karma or something?" That, well, he knew Vedic understanding, so he was doubting his daughter. But when his daughter actually, you know, explained, and then he was happy, and he actually did hug her and make up.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. That's a bit of clarification there, isn't it? So thank you.
Very good. So let's go to chapter 4, text number 68.
Sadavo hridayam mayam sadhunam hridayam tvaham madanyate na jananti naham teviyo managapi. Pure devotee is always within the core of my heart, and I'm always in the heart of the pure devotee. My devotees did not know anything else but me. I do not know anyone else but them.
These are the endearing verses. We'll come to these when Lord Vishnu is talking to Durvasa Muni. And really the Lord captures our hearts by comments like these. So we'll come to these really beautiful comments. This is how we fall in love with the sweetness of the Lord. Okay. Classic chapter. Ambarish Maharaj offended. Actually, he wasn't offended, but Durvasa Muni offends him. This chapter is the history of Maharaj Nabhag and his son Nabhag and of Maharaj Ambarish. So the son of Manu, Nabhag, and his son Nabhag lived for many years in the Gurukul with his guru. So his son Nabhag lived in the Gurukul. He was a brahmachari, and everybody was thinking he's never going to come back. In his absence, his brothers did not consider his share of the kingdom. They thought he isn't going to become a householder. So let's just divide his property and take it ourselves. But Nabhag came home. And then the brother said, "Oh, okay, we've already shared out your property, but you can have our father as your share." Now that was ridiculous because father is not a property to be shared out. So when Nabhag went to his father and told him about the dealings of his brothers, his father informed him that this was cheating, as he was not property which can be enjoyed. And he advised him that for his livelihood, he didn't want him to fight with his brothers. So he said, for your livelihood, go to the sacrificial arena and describe 2 mantras to be chanted there. So he taught them the mantras. He taught the son the mantras. And he said to him that the sages headed by Angira Muni, they will make mistakes on every 6th day, and you can correct them. They'll become pleased with you. So Nabhag executed the order of his father, and thus Angira Muni and the other great saintly persons, they became pleased with him, and they gave him all of the dakshina that was collected in the sacrifice. And that's a huge reward. But to test Nabhag, Lord Shiva challenged his claim to the wealth. So Lord Shiva appeared as a dark person, black person, and he came before Nabhag and said, "This is not your wealth, it's mine." But Lord Shiva became satisfied by Nabhag's behavior, and he gave all of the riches, all the riches to Nabhag, along with transcendental knowledge. So Nabhag really gained everything. How did he please Lord Shiva? Well, the test was he appeared before Nabhag as a dark person, and he claimed the wealth given to Nabhag by the sages. So Nabhag could have said, "No, it's not yours, it's mine. Go away." But Nabhag was very intelligent. And Shiva said to Nabhag that, "Let's go to your father who can settle the dispute." So Nabhag said yes. And he went before his father, Nabhag. And Nabhag agreed. Actually, the wealth from the yajna does belong to the person the yajna was done for, and that's Shiva. So give the wealth to Shiva. Don't worry about it. So Nabhag informed this to Shiva, that you can have the wealth. And that was the test. And Shiva became very pleased because he doesn't need any wealth. So he became very pleased and he gave all the riches to Nabhag, and also he gave him Divigyan. From Nabhag was born Ambarish. So you can see the lineage is very strong. The most powerful and celebrated devotee. Sukadeva Goswami explained that although Ambarish was cursed by an infallible Brahman, the curse could not touch him. Now, this was a little surprising for Parikshit Maharaj, because so far we've heard whenever a Brahman is curses, that curse takes immediate effect, no matter who the devotee is. For example, Bali Maharaj, great devotee, he was cursed by Sukracharya. The curse worked. So Maharaj Parikshit was very surprised. He said the Brahman's curse did not act upon Ambarish. How? And he asked Sukadeva Goswami to explain further. So Maharaj Ambarish, so Sukadeva Goswami then tells a story. He was the emperor of the entire world, but he considered his opulence temporary and insignificant, like a piece of stone. Indeed, knowing that such material opulence is the cause of fall down into conditioned life, he was unattached to this opulence. He engaged his senses and mind in the service of the Lord. This process is called Yukta Vairagya. So Yukta Vairagya is where you have a lot of possessions, but you're not attached to them. It's feasible, not feasible. It's renunciation. It's renunciation, but it's renunciation whilst you are still doing your duties, which is quite suitable for worship of the Supreme Lord. So these are the different ways he engaged his mind and senses. So it's really nice to go through this. Go through that.
Sevai mana Krishna padara vindayo.
Mind in meditating on Krishna's lotus feet.
Vaichamshi vaikunta gunanu varnane.
Words in glorifying Krishna's qualities.
Karo hare mandira marchana tishu.
Hands in cleaning Lord Hari's temple.
Shrutim chakrat chutya sat kathodaya.
Ears in hearing about Krishna.
Mukunda lingalya darshane drisho.
Eyes in seeing the deities of Mukunda.
Tat pritya gatra sparse nga sangamam.
Sense of touch in touching the devotees' bodies.
Grahanam chatat pada sarajo sorobe Srimad Tulasya.
Sense of smell in smelling the fragrance of tulasi offered to the Lord's feet.
Asanam tat arpite.
Tongue in tasting the Lord's prasad.
Padohare kshetra padanu sarpane.
Legs in walking to holy places and temples.
Shiro rishikesha padapi vandane.
Head in bowing to Lord Rishikesh's feet.
Kamam cha dasye natu kamar kamyayai.
Desires in Lord's service, not enjoyment.
Yathotam shloka janashraya rati.
He did all this to develop attachment for the Lord as possessed by great devotees. It's a fantastic example for us. And we can also do the same. We can do exactly what Ambarish Maharaj is doing here. This is the example for us, walking in his footsteps. So we have this facility. We have all the senses, the mind, the sense objects are there as well. So we can connect the senses to the sense objects in Krishna's service. So Yukta Vairagya, we use everything we have in the service of Krishna. Oh, anyway, Maharaj Ambarish was immensely opulent, and he performed devotional service with great opulence. Despite his wealth, he had no attachment to his wife, children, or kingdom. To say nothing of employing material opulence, he never desired even liberation. So all the 5 different types of liberation, he didn't even care for that. I don't want anything from you, my Lord. He offered all the results of his royal activities to Lord Krishna and took advice from the Brahmins. These are 2 great qualities. Gave the results to Krishna and always advised by the Brahmins, the pure devotees. He worshipped the Lord by doing Ashwamedha Yagyas, performed by great sages like Vashishta, Ashita, Gautam. Let's see what else was there. His citizens are also satisfied by also performing Bhakti Yoga. So this was the
presentation.
That's right, yeah, because it was running over. So I just wanted to see what it said, last bit said. So the citizens, his citizens, they also were very happy following in the footsteps of Ambarish. They would also perform Bhakti Yoga. A very powerful king. So one time, he was performing Ekadashi, being very pleased by the unalloyed devotion of Maharaj Ambarish. The Supreme Lord gave the king his disc for protection. So the chakra remained always with Ambarish. Once Maharaj Ambarish, along with his queens, was worshipping the Supreme Lord in Vrindavan, in Mahavan, observing the vow of Ekadashi. And in the month of Kartik, after observing that vow for 1 year and observing a fast for 3 nights, after bathing in the Yamuna, Maharaj Ambarish performed devotional service in Madhuvan, Madhuvan, yeah, not Mahavan, by performing the bathing ceremony for the deity of Lord Krishna with all the paraphernalia. So this is a fantastic example. When we are doing Ekadashi on Dwadasi, we can do the same. Or early morning Ekadashi, we can perform the bathing ceremony of the Lord, dress the deity with fine clothes, ornaments, fragrant flowers, garlands, etc. All the greatly fortunate Brahmins were free from material desires. So he satisfied all the guests who arrived at his house, especially the Brahmins. He was giving in charity 60 crores of cows. That's a lot of cows. That's a lot of cows. That's like 600 million cows, I think. Who's
like Nanda Maharaj,
yeah.
Krishna's birth, how happy, and he gave how many,
yes.
He gave cows like that. Ambarish Maharaj was giving cows.
Very good.
I did not remember the number of how many Nanda Maharaj.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. That's right.
More than Ambarish Maharaj?
I can't remember. This number is 60 crores, but King Arnag, I can't remember. He was huge as well. Do you remember how many cows he was donating? King Arnag?
I have Krishna book. I will see and say.
Have a look, yeah. And these cows, they were not ordinary cows. The horns, they were covered with gold plates, and the hoofs, they were covered with silver plates. That's a lot of gold and a lot of silver. So this is what he was doing. He was giving charity like this. On Dwadasi, the day after Ekadashi, when he was about to complete his fast, the great mystic yogi Durvasa appeared as an uninvited guest in his house and became his guest. King Ambarish respectfully received Durvasa Muni. And Durvasa Muni, after accepting his invitation to eat there, went to bathe in the Yamuna at noontime. There he dipped in the Yamuna at dipped into the water of the auspicious Yamuna and meditated upon the impersonal Brahman. Right. And he got lost in his time. He stayed there. Now, because he was absorbed in Samadhi, Durvasa Muni did not come back very soon. Ambarish Maharaj, in the meantime, he was in a bit of a fix, a dilemma, yeah. he didn't want to transgress the etiquette of respectful behavior towards the Brahmins by eating first in order to finish his fast. But at the same time, if he didn't finish the fast, if he didn't complete the fast, then the fast was not proper. So there was a dilemma in his mind, what to do. Only a murta, which is, I think, murt was 24 minutes of the Dwalasi day was left in which to complete the fast. So he took advice from the Brahmins. He asked them, what should I do? If I eat, I'll be offending my guest. If I don't, I'll be offending Ekadashi. I will not be observing it properly. What to do? So they advised him, just drink a little bit of water in order to observe the formality of finishing the fast. According to Brahminical opinion, drinking water may be accepted as eating and also as not eating. If the fast was not complete, then there was a flaw in the Ekadashi vow. So he took a little water. Durvasa Muni came back. By mystic power, he understood that Maharaj Ambarish had drunk water without his permission, or before Durvasa Muni eating. He became very angry that the king had transgressed the laws of respectful behavior to the Brahmins. So he regarded Ambarish as a simple king, not a devotee of the Lord. And he began chastising Ambarish Maharaj. Still, he wasn't satisfied, and he finally decided to punish Ambarish Maharaj. He created from his hair a demon appearing. It was like resembling the blazing fire of devastation. He had a trident in his hand, and he made the surface of the earth tremble with his footsteps. This is a terrifying demon. That blazing creature came before Maharaj Ambarish. But the king, upon seeing him, the demon, was not at all disturbed, and he did not move even slightly from his position. This is the glory of the Bhakta, fearless. There's Durvasa, there's the demon, and there's Ambarish Maharaj.
From Durvasa head that demon came here.
Sorry?
I heard that Durvasa threw his head on the floor and the demon appeared.
Yeah, he just pulled out some hair from his head. And the sages, their hair is very powerful. So then he threw that on the floor, and this demon came, and he ordered the demon, kill Ambarish. So now the Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, is always the protector of his devotees. And in order to protect Maharaj Ambarish, by the previous order of the Lord, the Sudarshan Chakra immediately vanquished the fiery demon. And then he went after Durvasa, who was so envious of Maharaj Ambarish. Ambarish did not even ask for protection from the Lord, thinking that he should not counteract the power of a Brahman. This is the beauty of the devotee, but should just tolerate it. Instead, he thought of the Lord in his heart. That's the devotee's nature, not to harm even those who intend to harm them. Durvasa saw that the disc was almost touching his back. Thus he ran very swiftly. So he went many places. He went to the caves of the Sumeru mountain, no protection there. Chakra was right behind him. He went on the sky. He went everywhere. Surface of the earth, in caves, in the ocean, different planets of the rulers of the three worlds. Even he went to the heavenly planets. Eventually he went to Brahmalok. And he begged Brahma, please protect me. And Brahma said, no can do. You offended a devotee. You better get out of here. It's getting too hot in Brahmalok. Then he went to Kailash, Lord Shiva's abode. And Lord Shiva, wherever he went, he saw the Sudarshan behind him. This unbearable fire was right behind him. And in Kailash, Lord Shiva advised him, only one person you can possibly help you, and that's Vishnu. Go and see Narayan. There he is. He's running everywhere. followed by the chakra. But he was fast. But the chakra was right behind him. Now, Durvasa is a partial incarnation of Shiva. So he's no ordinary person, no ordinary Muni. Being disappointed, finally, Durvasa went to the spiritual world. So he was so powerful, he could enter the spiritual world, right? Very powerful Muni. And he surrendered to Narayan. And he begged Narayan, please get your Sudarshan off my back. But Narayan said, no, can't do. I can't do anything. Because Sudarshan will not excuse a person who has offended a Vaishnava. And then this is where the Lord really conquers hearts of the devotees. So this is Durvasa, has come before Lakshmi Narayan begging for help. But this is where Vishnu talks about his devotees. I am completely under the control of my devotees. Indeed, I am not at all independent. Because my devotees are completely devoid of material desires, I sit only within the cause of their hearts. So when he offended Ambarish, Sudarshan also took it as an offense to Narayan, because Narayan is in the core of that heart. What to speak of my devotees, even those who are devotees of my devotees are very dear to me. Without saintly persons, I do not desire to enjoy my transcendental bliss and opulences. Amazing, isn't it? How can I give up such devotees at any time who have given up everything for me? Right? They've given up everything for me. How can I give them up? The pure devotees who are equal to everyone, they bring me under their full control. The devotee is always within the core of my heart. And I am always in the heart of the pure devotees. That was the verse we read at the beginning. So these are very, very, very powerful prayers. Prayers that we should actually try to study, because it shows the beauty, the sweetness of the Lord. Yes, Riyansh?
Raji, can I represent my screen once?
At the end, okay? Let me just finish this. Oh, one more. My devotees do not know anything else but me, and I do not know anything else but them. So that was also part of that verse that we read. Very powerful stuff. To be excused from such an offense, one must submit to the Vaishnav. So this is the advice that Narayan gives to Durvasa. So whoever you offended, Ambarish, you submit yourself to him. There's no other way to be excused. Thus, Lord Narayan, after all that, he wished Durvasa Muni good fortune, good luck, my friend. And he advised him to return to Ambarish Maharaj and beg his pardon. Pleasing him will give you, Durvasa, peace. So that's what he did. He came and he took shelter at the lotus feet of Ambarish. And tomorrow we'll see, not tomorrow, sorry, Thursday, we will see the glory of Ambarish, the glory of Ambarish. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 9. Yes, so you can present your screen. Mm-hmm. So Riyansh, you there? Oh, that was fast. Did you show your screen very quickly, huh?
Yes, Raji.
Okay, so that we had the same picture.
I am again showing.
Yeah. Yeah, so we had the same picture. Oh, it's going and coming quickly, huh? Anyway, any questions, any comments on Ambarish or Durvasa?
Raji, I want to share another picture.
You can do it right at the end, okay? Because it's coming and going very quickly. So, any questions, any comments?
Do you know the name of the wife of Ambarish Maharaj?
Oh,
No, just asking. It's okay.
Don't think it's on the
It is not
Bhagavatam.
mentioned in Bhagavatam.
Yeah, we'll have a look. Might not be in the Bhagavatam.
No.
Maybe in there. But yeah, I don't even know if he only had one wife. But yeah, we'll have a look. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, he probably had many wives. He was amazing.
Because he had internet issue, it was moving fast.
Okay. Don't worry, you can show it at the end. Huh? So, anybody else? Anything else, Nani Ben?
Yeah, it's just about the Durvasa Muni. makes you wonder, isn't he? But he must be a good character, great character.
Yes.
Having traveled here, there, everywhere, and he was sort of humble enough to ask for forgiveness.
For sure. And this is Leela in many ways. Durvasa is actually a very special person.
In Mahabharata, the Akshayapatra story.
Yeah,
yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
But actually, to show his greatness, Durvasa Muni actually resides, especially when Krishna was there, he was residing in one of the forests in Vrindavan. And one time, the Krishna, they asked Krishna, how is the gopis asked Krishna, what's the best way to attain the Supreme? And Krishna said, go and check with Durvasa, who is just in this forest, and take a lot of prasad with you. But this is a really fascinating pastime. And one day we'll recite this pastime. I've forgotten the exact details, but it basically, it's one of the most incredible pastimes. So Durvasa is a very special person, actually. Very special devotee, and Krishna loves him. But Durvasa has a temperament like Lord Shiva. He can become pleased very quickly, but angered very quickly as well. So this anger is what sort of brings him down somewhat. So sometimes, but still, nonetheless, he's a very powerful personality. Anything else? Anybody else? Any questions? Any comments?
Prabhuji, I heard that one time I was hearing the story of Ambarish Maharaj means in YouTube I search for Ambarish Maharaj stories. So in that there is a video of Ambarish Maharaj for kids. So there I saw that the old man advised the king that you should drain the water. Is it right that Brahmans advised? And in other place I heard ministers advised.
Yes, it's actually the kings. They seek advice from the Brahmins. One of the occupational duties of a Brahmin is to...
But I heard in a place that priests also.
Priests and Brahmins are the same. One and the same. And the ministers, they are Kshatriyas. So they also take their advice from the Brahmins. The Brahmins are saintly persons, like the priests, like the devotees. So they give the advice to the kings, to the Kshatriyas. That's correct. That's correct. Good. Well done, Riyaj. So let's do the lessons we haven't. Indulekha Maji, hopefully you're a little busy, but whenever you have time, you can catch up if you get a chance. And instructions. Madhusudan Prabhu.
Okay, Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Krishna.
Yeah, I'll share a few things with you. And this chapter, these two are amazing, especially Durvasa Munis. And I'll share something with you. Anyway, let me go through chapter 3 first. So Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. So in this chapter, Ashwini Kumars, as I said, they're being the physicians in heavenly planets, gives a youthful body to Shravan Muni and shows how advanced their medical science and their control over body and mind, there is actually in heavenly planets. But we are advised that actually, our focus should be, yes, we want to remain youthful, energetic. Haribol? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Carry on.
Yeah, and that, we should, we all desire to have a healthy body and young and beautiful, whatever. But our focus should be good health for advancement in our bhakti. So it is not that we sometimes we might get tangled up in this, much anti-aging and just for bodily pleasure. So obviously Shyawana Muni got a young body. And as I mentioned earlier on, Ashwini Kumar looked very similar, and his wife, that she couldn't make out who Shyawana Muni was. But this was also to validate that in future, if anybody asks, why are you not with that old man that you used to be? How come? So it was, she can say, Ashwini Kumars are the witness as well. They can validate, her chastity, especially when she goes back to her father, So, and chapter 4, we've seen that the instruction, of Durvasa Muni. In this chapter, we instructed to understand how easily Durvasa Muni gets angered, and Maharaj Ambarish remains unperturbed due to his fixed devotional service. And we've seen how the different ways he performed different qualities. And as we do this chapter over the next few days and then understand the glories of Ambarish Maharaj, I just want to share. I just want to share that, I was I'll put it on camera, and this is a book. Can you see?
Oh, sharing a screen. 1 second. Okay, now share the screen.
Oh, I thought the camera would just show.
1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Spotlight.
Just the camera is showing spotlight. And this is a book by Shivaram Maharaj Swami, Saints Are My Heart. And it's a personally signed book by him as well, to Madhusudan Das. May all wonderful things be yours, and Shivaram Maharaj Swami. And this is a conversation between Durvasa Muni and Narayan, and understanding how the Sudan Chakra can get free from it. It's a wonderful book, and actually you should always try and read that. It's a wonderful read. Shivaram Maharaj is called. So I thought I would share that with you. Sorry, I'm not shaving.
Why don't you, if you want, on Thursday?
Yeah.
Why don't, if you have time, would you like to do a summary of that? The conversation. Would you like to do that?
Yeah, I can do something from this. Yeah, because it's a wonderful book. Such a
it ties up so nicely.
Pictures, everything.
Okay, go for it.
If it ties up, and if you want, so when on Thursday?
Yeah, so not tomorrow, day after.
Yeah, tomorrow actually I can't, because I have to attend the funeral.
Of course.
Yeah.
So let's do it on
Thursday. So tomorrow I might not be there. So Thursday.
Yeah. Okay. If Thursday is not enough time, let me know, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. First class.
Okay.
Thank you. Well done. Fantastic. So Shriyansh, you can share your screen now.
Yes, Prabhuji. So this is the first picture.
Very good.
This is the second picture. Oh, this is some blurry. Wait, Prabhuji, 1 minute. I am sharing that screen. Wait, Prabhuji, I have some internet issue with this.
Okay, don't worry. Thank you so much. So, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Oh, let's have a look. Who is that then?
Oh, wonderful. That's Durvasa Muni.
Yeah, well done, well done. Well done. Chavan Muni.
I searched in the YouTube and I found this, and this cartoon name is a Matchbox.
But that's Narad Muni. Maybe Narad Muni was part of it.
That's got a Kamal though, like a Muni. Narad Muni would have a Veena.
Oh, is it? Yeah, okay.
Well, I'm thinking about the old man now. Wonderful sharing anyway, Rianch. Thank you.
Yeah, well done, Rianch. Good boy.